Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining our online seminar. A warm welcome to the SAMCOM community and all our viewers. Today, we're absolutely thrilled to host Dr. Houssain Kettani. Dr. Kettani here is here to present the seminar on impact of digitalization, cybersecurity threats, and emerging issues. He'll be sharing insights into how digitalization shapes the landscape of cybersecurity, exploring both the threats it poses and the emerging issues we face in the rapidly evolving field. I promise this is going to be very insightful for everyone. Now, I'll hand over to Professor Kettani and encourage everyone to learn actively, take notes, and ask questions in the comment section. Dr. Kettani, up to you.
Thank you very much for your great introduction, and thank you for Tamkeen Foundation for the invitation and the opportunity to present this work. If you have any questions or interjection or really comment that you cannot really wait, feel free to interject, feel free to interrupt, feel free to the whole idea of this is to stimulate discussion and interest in the topic, so you don't have to wait until the end. Obviously, at the end also we're going to have Q&A and discussion, and that's also a good time to for any monologues or long discussions that so the presentation itself doesn't get too long. So these are just areas where I grew up. I was born in Saudi Arabia, East, and then moved to the West. And then I got my high school degree from Rabat, Morocco, and then my undergraduate in Cyprus. And I lived most of my professional life most of my life in the United States. I worked between geographically from Puerto Rico, Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico, to University of Alaska in Fairbanks. I worked at Los Alamos National Lab. I worked at Oak Ridge National Lab. I did my graduate studies in University of Wisconsin-Madison, and worked and lived in different places in the United States for about a quarter of a century. So let's start with a smart city. It is technologically modern urban area that uses different types of electronic methods and sensors to collect specific data. Information gained from that data is used to manage assets, resources, and services efficiently to improve operations across the city. So you can imagine a smart city like this. Of course, there are no two smart cities alike. Smart city is geared towards better service to its citizens. So you can think of sensors in parking, sensors for measuring of air quality, sensors for energy efficiency, sensors to communicate with hospitals, with the local law enforcement, with infrastructure, critical infrastructure, reporting things, including things to be fixed, including things that disturb public order, or things that may not be legal, etc. So a smart city tries to enable all these things. So that's just a picture so common thread of smart cities are data collection points. Many times we may think of data collection point as a sensor, but human eyes are a classic collection point. So citizens or even visitors could be reporting their observation to authorities through designated applications on smartphones or websites, etc. And so, for example, if there is a hole in the road, or there is a light bulb on the street that is not working, so a person could take a picture and upload it in a smartphone. And several cities use such apps. And when you do that, the authorities need to act on that in a timely manner. And so that would encourage citizens to be in more service to the upper authorities, and also to their other citizen mates. And so obviously there's also sensors to control, to collect temperature data, air quality, and obviously you collect this data to do something. So if air quality is going bad, you can take some measures to clean it. For example, in some cities in China, even cars with even number drive every other day, and cars on the on with odd, the other cars drive on the other day. So you cannot drive your personal car on 2 consecutive days. And also mass public transportation that enables people to use it and reduce not only congestion of roads, but also reduce the pollution and improve air quality. Parking spots, you can have like measures and whether a spot is empty or filled, or also you can, if somebody overstayed their allocated time, they can get notified by SMS message, or in a particular app they can get a ticket. So all these things could be used to improve quality of parking, of quality of life in a designated smart city. Street traffic lights, like streets traffic light, like could be controlled by sensors, so you know which direction is filled with cars. So only when other place gets enough cars, that's when the light becomes green. Here's a picture from Shanghai with so many cameras. At first, when you go there, it's kind of you get disturbed by the amount of cameras looking at you, and you are being recorded. But as time passes, you get used to it. So you can use these cameras for face recognition, for car tags, for to control, to protect the city, to collect information about which area is congested, which is not, about behavior that is not going with the norm, or something that needs to get some feedback.
Doctor.
So they
Doctor?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you can kindly try to reshare your screen. It's not moving.
Okay, stop sharing. Small and share window. Okay. Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so let me make it excellent. So data exists, and it's recorded facts and figures. So information is knowledge derived from data. Any change in data could affect the information. So we need to establish systems for collecting data, store it, manage it, retrieval, analyze it. All this could be automated, or also could open areas for employment and even disciplines like data analytics, computer science, computer security, etc. So information system is collection of hardware, software, data, people, and procedures that work together to produce quality information. And then information system engineer is the effective use or engineering of information system for a better understanding of data to optimize decision making. Authorities in smart cities need to act in a timely manner, sometimes in real time, and using like software that could take decision in real time to better serve the citizens and act on the data that has been collected. So it would collect the data, analyze it, store it, manage it. All could be automated and make the decision automated. All these things in real time to better serve the population. So smart cities can influence culture and change behaviors, people's behavior. For example, we see speed radars, and these help uh, drivers to respect a speed limit and therefore reduce fatal accidents. And also, like parking, if you have sensors that if somebody overstayed their parking, then it may send them notification, and after a while send them a ticket that even could be deducted immediately from their account or whatever. Then eventually people are going to take parking allocated time and parking direction, driving direction seriously, and would that would influence their behavior even if they go somewhere where there are no such sensors. Crossing street, like in Shanghai, for example, or in some cities in China, if you don't cross at designated pedestrian crossing areas, you get a ticket. Maybe it affects you through your WeChat, through your other things designated by the state as like a credit score or so. Like trash, if somebody throws the trash, they get ticketed on their phone. This is like, for example, in Dubai, you would get your speeding ticket immediately and as an SMS. So these things are being implemented in different parts of the world. Like in Singapore, it was if you spit on the street, you get a ticket, and so they've done all these things to influence the public order and people's behavior to make them more disciplined and more modern for a modern society. Obviously, with all these data collection points, there is concern about privacy and human right violations. Like when you talk about uh, like face recognition, it could be biased. When you talk about automatic deduction of tickets, that's also like it may have concern about violation of privacy and people's right. Also, it could be very useful for green and renewable energy use with sensors and controlling quality of air. So modern campuses, university campuses, like at the start of this millennium, we were thinking of a modern campus as Wi-Fi connected. So and with monitoring cameras eventually installed for safety and other use. And then later, by the 20 teens, learning management systems were introduced, like Blackboard, Canvas, Desire to Learn, Moodles, and others. And these enabled synchronous and asynchronous teaching capabilities, automatic grading, automatic cheating deduction. And these learning management service has improved by time and incorporated more and more technologies and operability with other systems that make them very useful for professors. But technological innovation of cyber systems and increased dependence of individual societies and nations on them has brought new, real, and ever-changing threat landscape. As ease and efficiency to our lives has been met by similar innovations to take advantage of cyber systems for other gains. For example, when we make the system easier for a person to use, then we make it also easier for adversary to use it. For example, I could access the system without a password, but that would make anybody access it. But if I have a weak password, then it's some trouble for me to put my name and password, but it makes it much harder for others. But if I make the password much stronger, I'm increasing the difficulty on myself, but I'm increasing the difficulty in orders of magnitude on anybody else, an adversary that wanna impersonate me or access my data. So when we make services easier on individuals, we are also inadvertently making it easier for an adversary to take advantage of those individuals, of the society, of the system, of the national security at large. So, and threats evolving faster than they can be assessed. Threats are being automated as well. So all these are concerns. So some sample threats when it comes to, obviously, whatever we are doing, as you can see, is done digitally. All these sensors, communication, control, real-time operations, these are done digitally. So there is concern about confidentiality, integrity, availability, or acronymed as CIA. Like somebody could access the system and like access the data, like it happened before in many places, including Morocco recently. Somebody could modify the data if they access it. Somebody could make the data not available. So all these things could be affected through hacking. If things are done physically, it's harder on the population. It's kind of viewed as backward, but also it's much more protected. So so for example, to stop people from going to Marjan, for example, or Walmart, if I do it physically, I have to send a mob and control the entries and block it, and or enter there and make a mess. But now I could do it if it's e-commerce or e-marjan. I could do it as a distributed denial of service attack and make the website not available, and therefore the service is not available. So if in the old days stealing from a bank would have required like physical attack with machine guns, with threats, with even loss of some human lives, or people being physically hurt or injured. But nowadays, people can do it just online, and it doesn't even make the news because it's not as it doesn't attract human attention as the other ones that have all these noise and drama. So people would steal millions by just hacking into systems, stealing people's account, data breach, impersonating others, identity theft. All these things could be done online or in a digital and virtual world. And the reason, because we moved through digitalization and virtuality. Cloud computing, who controls the servers may control the data as well. So if we are using some American-based servers and use them to store our data and confidential data or data of national security interest, or even data about the population, like their behavior, their what do they own, a lot of things, then that gives the owner of those servers accessibility. Obviously, from ethical standards and related things, that's a no-no. But we experience and stories tell us over and over that there is no need to trust somebody else with your servers. So cloud computing, when it comes to it, opens solutions to government entities to store data, to work with it, to store and to retrieve it, but at the same time, at what cost? Those servers, if they get hacked, or the other entity or anybody who has access to this data on those servers could use it to do machine learning, data mining, to learn more about the population, and later use it for marketing, use it to attack the country even commercially, or as to make it as a viable consumer. or through ads in Facebook and other social network, or even or spam or emails. But also it could at any time it could go blank. The data may be affected availability if the state did something that the owners of those servers or where those servers, which country they're hosted, is not happy with the decision of the government for whatever reason. And now we move to another era of generative AI or Gen AI, ChatGPT, deepfake, and generational gap. All these things are creating greater and greater threats that that are becoming less managed and more scary. So you have ChatGPT was introduced towards the end of 2022 by OpenAI. It's a chatbot, can answer questions and sustain conversations, can write fixed codes, can write articles, reports, theses, works in several languages. So it's creating a dependency by professionals and also students on it. And the one who controls it, OpenAI, or there are of course other software that were introduced, example like DeepSeek and others. Those who control this software, they would control what you think, what you know, because people are getting more dependent on it. It's creating a challenge for professors how to identify and fight cheating. How are their grade that they give to students, are they really reflective of knowledge of those students? And students, when they graduate, are they actually knowledgeable with what they are certified to know, or were they so dependent on these generative AI things that they fooled the system and they fooled their professors, and they got good grades, but actually the grades go to ChatGPT, but not to the student. Similarly, there is concern about the use to write reports by employees. So OpenAI would store all the data. So if you use it to write a better report, and you are basically given the data to OpenAI. So if this data is of national security interest or of confidential data, then you already inadvertently leaked information to a third party or to another country that may not have the interest of your country's in their mind. And so when you have students who depend on ChatGPT, when they're going to work wherever they work, they will continue to be dependent on writing report and using ChatGPT, and therefore leaking the information willingly and repeatedly. And this happened as reports and that I learned happened in some countries. So we enter an era where moving into digitalization is expected, but at the same time, how can you protect it, or can you ever protect it? And obviously, even big countries with huge protection like China, Russia, United States, they got hacked. Things there get leaked. So it's like what to do. It's a major concern. Here's an example of threat to education. We had, there is this example of a student who wrote his master thesis in Russia, and this is early in 2023. He used ChatGPT to write his thesis, and after he finished, he was happy, and he posted his picture with saying thanks to ChatGPT. And so there was a discussion by the university: do we revoke his diploma, or what do we do? And were there any existing regulations at the university that doesn't allow such use? So if you use electronic devices, if you use Word to write your thesis, are you really cheating? So what if you use a software to help you write your thesis? If you use autocorrect, is that cheating? If you use ChatGPT, is that cheating? So these are still an open discussion, and several universities wrote some policies, including Akhawain University, but the meat of that policy is basically, please tell us that you used it, acknowledge that you used it, but there isn't like how much of it is your work, how much of it is the other work. And if I ask you to write a paper, I want to see your ideas, I want to see how you write, I want to see your language skills. And if ChatGPT is doing all these things to you, then why then do I give you a grade? Is that grade reflective of your knowledge? And also, is it even important to teach these skills and these things if somebody can just use ChatGPT? So these are all discussions in academia about such software, and this software have become better and better, and not only better and better, they are being used and used by younger and younger generation at a much early age and stage that an educator wanted. For example, a young student, a first grader learning how to count, I wouldn't introduce them to a calculator. If I introduce them to calculator, they're gonna lose sense of what is counting, and therefore, if they don't have a calculator in their pocket, they could be fooled. And if the calculator is modified to give them wrong numbers, they're gonna believe it. So they could be fooled as well. And so ChatGPT, when it gives me information, how do I trust it? Go ask DeepSeek, for example, something about Taiwan and see the response. Go ask ChatGPT something about Gaza and look at the response. Obviously, you see so much bias, but this is the bias you know. What about the bias you don't know? What about the between the lines knowledge that is spewed in your own work that you may not pay attention, but you are being used by third party to say it by your fingers or tongue or whatever. So again, deepfake, somebody could generate a video for you, and it's totally bogus. You didn't say what you said, has been said, and so is this admissible in court? And if not, then it could be publicized in media, and the person may not have the opportunity in some systems to really talk about themselves or protect themselves or defend themselves. And so the public gonna just believe what they see. So that's a danger, even in truth, and manipulating truth and attacking people. And this happening even in fake porn and fake a lot of things that's happening with deep fake. So you can really make a scandalous video about somebody and make their life miserable and destroy their life and career, and don't give them the ability to defend themselves. Millennials, you have a generation that is digital natives, and also the way how they grew up, the way how they deal, they take pride in challenging norms and system without any calculation for consequences, like the Russian student who wrote his thesis with ChatGPT. He could have just keep it to himself and just proud of what he has done and move into his PhD and write his PhD thesis also ChatGPT. But he went on, he was proud that he beat the system, and he made it. No, you have many millennials, like you have Edward Snowden, you have Chelsea Manning, that a lot of government, U.S. government secrets, they got leaked to WikiLeaks and got leaked to the media because these individuals felt that that's the right thing to do, and what they were witnessing was wrong. So they did what they thought is right without any regard to consequences and etc. Obviously, the U.S. tries to protect the data and their system and the way how they do business with billions of dollars, and so a person like this is viewed as insider threat, and and these agencies are having trouble training and sustaining Gen Z population. And then, of course, you have Gen Alpha and Gen Beta, etc. So Gen Z is digital native, but Alpha or even Beta would be AI native, Gen AI native. And so, how would you do with a population that from early stage they were using ChatGPT and generative AI? So, how much knowledge do they really know? And are they just users, or are they or do they really know? And can they be manipulated by the real authors of this generative AI software? Or and then if a person is too dependent on generative AI, then are they employable? Why are we gonna employ them then? Why don't we just use Gen AI or get Gen AI experts to do the job? So that ends my talk, and I'm opening the floor for Q&A and discussion.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor, for that incredibly insightful presentation. At this point in time, I'm going to officially open up the floor for questions. There are, I think, questions in the comment section, and you can check them out. And for those that want to speak, you can raise your hand and open your mic so you can speak.
Okay, how do you see the role of science and technology in shaping the future of global education? Obviously, it's a major role. It is shaping. Gen AI, generative AI is shaping the future. Digitalization is shaping the future. You have a population that is or digital native, internet native, and then eventually now generative AI natives. So all these are shaped by technology. So it is, but that comes with good and bad. So the data privacy, cybersecurity, CIA, that is confidentiality, integrity and availability of the data. So all these are affected by the technology. So you create both the problem and the solution. And the reason we want to make life much easier on citizens and much more productive, but at the same time, we have to create some protection for these things, which is the job of cybersecurity and data privacy and these kind of disciplines. What do you think is more important in education today, specialization or interdisciplinary? These are they are not mutually exclusive. You can obviously interdisciplinary makes you more open, but you can be specialized, but that specialization you use it in a different discipline that they are not aware of that tools that you acquired in that specialization. So it's important. For example, I tell my students who are computer science graduates, everybody uses computer science. So you can wear the hat of marketing, where you can help businesses with e-commerce, or you can wear the hat of programmer. You can work in any discipline. So it's interdisciplinary, and being open to other disciplines opens a wide aspects, not only with employability, but also with collaboration and productivity. So interdisciplinary is also important, but interdisciplinary doesn't mean to be shallow on different disciplines. So it's important to be specialized in one, but understand that others may not be aware of your tools and may need it, and you make them aware of these things and you collaborate with them. How do you see the balance between artificial intelligence and human intelligence evolving? Well, artificial intelligence may make people dumber because they are more dependent on it. So, and may create a lot of fake things, fake degrees, fake people, bots, fake news, deep fake. Um, so it is a challenge, and the humans need to find their role within this new context of generative AI. And generative AI, like internet, it's here to stay. So it's a major disruption to the norm, and people need to adapt to it one way or another. And the question how to adapt to it. Obviously, it's going to open new venues, new disciplines, new areas, new businesses, new careers. But at the same time, it opens new threats. It's like internet. Before the internet, we were living in a world where commerce is done physically, where where news, you have to get a newspaper or wait for a news channel to give you the news. But with the internet, you it opened all these like search engines, websites, e-commerce, and also it opened fake news. Anybody could write something, could write a blog, could create a havoc. Eventually, virtuality could transform to reality, like these revolutions that happened in so-called Arab Spring, manipulation of the election, 2016 election in the United States, and all these aspects does disrupt and affect our lives. What skills should students and new professionals focus on to enter cybersecurity in a digital world? To be paranoid, to be able to social engineer, and to be able to have soft skills and hunger to learning new tools, to be able to be so trusted but not so trusting. So you appear so trusting, but you are also making aware of other things. For example, you can go and ask somebody for their password, and they give it to you. That's socially engineering them. But at the same time, if somebody asks you, if a very good friend of yours asks you to your password, you may be able to politely deflect their request to make it to not be socially engineered. And if you are socially engineered, you can choose to be socially engineered for whatever reason and gain. But at least you are aware of the methods and tools. So cybersecurity is a very important discipline, and it's worldwide and makes a person very marketable and useful. Well, I prefer more like a discussion. I'm reading from the chat, but it's kind of dull. I can continue reading and answering, but if it's more audio interaction, it would be better. Are the negative consequences of AI use inevitable? Else, what solutions do you suggest for your field? Should computer science students be encouraged to use it? What new teaching methods do you think need to be adopted? I don't know. That's a big question, and I like to think of it as generative AI like a calculator. When did we introduce our students to calculator? And even now at the university level, in a course I teach algorithms, and I ask students not to use calculator. So because I want them to train the brain, train their thinking skills. Now, if I'm using generative AI, if I know what I want, um, if I know what I want and ask it and do the proper prompt engineering, then I can really go far. It's a very powerful and useful tool. But if I use it at early age and stage, so I wouldn't know how to calculate, I wouldn't know things, I wouldn't know how to write, it writes it to me, I wouldn't know how to think, I wouldn't know how to deal with challenges, then that's not a good thing. It's like giving a baby a car. There are laws when to use a car when you get your driver license. You cannot, in Morocco, you have to be 18 years old to be able to apply for a driver license. In some states in the United States, it's as low as 15, but with some parental guidance. But it's not. I think it's a major disruption to what we know in higher education and education in general. It's a major disruption of what we know as a nation, as a society. It may and it will affect our national security. So these are decisions that should be taken at higher level, should be discussed with experienced people from the field, subject matter experts, and also the legislation, and it should be done at the state level and to protect education and knowledge. Yeah, I think I answered the written questions. If you want to write more questions or you want to interact by audio, you're welcome. Or if you have any things to add or any things to challenge, or so admin, is this the end of the talk?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think this is all the questions. Thank you very much, Professor Kettani.
Thank you so much, and thank you for attending, and thank you for the invitation. And take care.
All right, and with that, we've reached the end of our seminar. Thank you again to Dr. Houssain Kettani for an absolutely fascinating and insightful presentation on impact of digitalization, cybersecurity threats, and emerging issues. We're also incredibly grateful to the Tamkin community and everyone who joined us online today for your active participation. We hope you gained valuable knowledge and new perspectives. Thank you for being with us, and we wish you the very best. Till next time.
Thank you.